Good morning, everyone. In today's video, I will be talking about organizing your work and the importance of, creating a very clear and neat, organized script that can be easily read and, of course, can be read and can be understood later on when you finish your work and you want to get back to your script. It's going to be really hard to have a look and understand why and what you've done in each piece of your script, and sometimes you spend hours to try to rethink why you did this piece, and maybe you should have left a note here or organized the work in a way that you need to do in order to ease the pain for yourself or for others if you are sharing this script when they try to understand or develop your work. Sometimes, like in this case or this example, I will try to drop a link for you. I think it's a kind of a example for a polar array, and again dropping the list up there. And for example, in this video, lots of pieces I made and it's just need to be deleted, and during the work process or during a deadline you just quickly try to achieve as much as you want without looking at the way to organize the work. You just want the work to be done. Even me, just to answer the question why we need to organize Dynamo Script, because even me, a couple of months ago, I wasn't really paying much of attention to organizing the script, and I thought it might be a waste of time. And it's already been done, so why do I have to redo it again? And this is really, really important. Like, you're gonna enhance your script, and the way the script can be read later on, you have also the ability to remember what each part of your script is actually doing, and it can help you also to ease the pain and your pain and other pain sometimes when you try to reread the script later on. And of course, an organized script is the one easier to be developed. So no matter how much you can organize and understand the way that you did, usually you're going to make complicated geometries, and spending half of the time trying to remember what you've done, this time will be useful for you to spend it on development. So this is why that topic came into my mind. Of course I have read part of this in I think Dynamo Primer, so I highly advise you to have a look at this really important reference, and some of this information I just thought myself it could be added to the topic that I read. So how we can actually organize the script. And first, let me take you to the same copy of the work that I've done here in Dynamo, and it's look like easier. It's look like an input side, an output side, then 3 or 4 main groups of works, which look like or organize all of them with one color code, which is the orange, giving you the indication that they are like a processing, and these are the inputs and these are the outputs of the work. You can include the mass here or the whatever the software, the surface making here, also to the output. It depends on who you look at it, and the type of the output, of course, you need to create. But I do believe that if you have such an organization, and it's a very easy way of, it's a very easy script and a very short one. Imagine if you have, much more complicated one, you will be lost 100% without, during the process, or at least as long as you finish the script, do such strategies. So what are the strategies again? You have actually the most one, I think it's really might be make no sense. You have to erase the unrequired part, sorry. And as you look, I just designed this, and if you zoom in, you will find some old nodes that also already were brought from the previous examples, or I was testing. I don't know. You can recognize them usually because they are basic, outputs, and they are not affecting or not linked actually to the rest of the group. So have a look at them and try to erase them, whether they are grouped or not. try to see if the nodes are not giving any type of clear output for you. So it might be the good time for you to erase it if it's not affecting. Lots of nodes can be left without work because you are actually testing, and when it's work, you get happy and you forget to test them. So this is the first point that came into my mind, which is you have to erase the unrequired or unused parts. Divide your script into a smaller and separated parts. This is really important, and that can go by, you know, a reverse engineering of what you're doing. Probably a good way to start your organizing, this is of course to look at the output. So this guy is just sending the result, I believe, to whatever this, I don't know where is the result here. Let me go to the 3D. Yep. So this is the geometry. It's a basic surface, and the ugliness you can see here because the, you know, I keep changing there and it doesn't update itself. In here, the ghosting is still there, the orange one, and of course there is no shade and shadow, and that might give you, you know, an unclear understanding of what the geometry is. But anyway, my point is that that's the result shape, and I got that out of this. So how it goes from Revit to, from Dynamo to Revit is this one. So I understand that this is for the exporting. So it might be the time to, you know, give it a block, or I'll just gonna go Control and G, or you can, I think in Edit, you can create a group, as you can have a look at it here. So I'll say it's for exporting to Revit, be more specific, family, for example, because you might get the nodes to send to the Revit project environment or rigid conceptual massing, not to the family itself. So we identified this as a node that's sent to outside. Good to have it. This one, that's the one who actually, it's a surface by loft. This one that actually making the whole geometry, and it's of course need a cross section. So here plural. So this is the node. It's actually taking or combining the two rings, the outer one and this guy in here, the inner one, of course. So those together, you can also, you know, combine them, or at least let's say add a node here to you know, to recognize, to allow you later on to recognize what they actually did. So that's the first thing. So you see, before I go in detail, you see I'm gathering those together. So this is the first job. Maybe it's a good idea to reverse engineer the whole thing. So I'm turning this off. So you see now, you know, gathering things. So these together, that's alone. This guy here is for the node. So what it's actually do or needs, it's need a point. So those are the points. Beautiful. So probably we can put them together or make them close to each other. This guy is to make it a closed loop. This dude here is, you know, it's just a basic a group of a list of points with dropping the last item. This one for flattening them. So maybe it's the time also to put them together. Put that aside. So you see, it's might look as, you know, as silly or as simple as I am doing, but again, they actually have to put together or close to each other because they are doing the same function. We're still talking about creating the points of the outside. That's the unifying item. This dude, I don't know why I off it. So probably it's the time to on it again. Have a look at it. So what it does, it's also a transpose list for the way to change the way of the list is actually being creating. So we're still in the same topic. This dude here, let's see what it does. It's actually getting us the points from the transfer points of the even, and it's also combine them with the odd one. Beautiful. The translated one, the up point one with this one. So maybe it's the time also to drag them here together. And all those actually can be grouped. So this point I'm talking about is to divide the script into a smaller and separated parts. I think it's clean. Now let's jump, which one? Now, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, complete that strategy, divide and conquer here. You divide the groups and then add a group for them. Divide the nodes, sorry, and then add a group for them. I'm gonna select all those guys, hit Control and J, and then create, add a name that actually represent what those group of nodes doing, and in it I will say making the exterior I don't know, exterior frame, exterior curve, whatever you want to call it. At least it give you an indication of what those guys doing. So after that, so we divided the group, we make related nodes together, we group them. Now it's really great if you select and right click and have clean nodes. It might organize, do some align for you or alignment for you. It's really you know, a good way of organizing the entire work. So these are to be done together. The same strategy, I'm going to divide my work. So what this guy do or does, sorry, that's the inner ring. That's to make the inner ring close. Those are the points. Okay, those are the points required for that to be done, whatever, however you want to look at it. And those are inputs. So probably those guys here have to be Control and J, and this will make, again, I divide them and then isolate them from for all things, get them together because they, the three of them have to do a specific function, and now I have to give them a group and give that group a clear name. So making the internal, I don't know, curve or whatever you want to call it. Now those guys are just simply, you know, the inner circle radius and the inner circle elevation. So they are inputs. Now the great idea is you have to put the inputs. That's the way I work, by the way. So I'm not gonna impose the way I'm thinking to you, but it's a good idea to put the inputs aside and the processing in the middle and the output at the end or at the right. So segregate or separate the inputs from the output from the processing unit as a group, of course, as you can see, is really a good idea. Now, a couple of randomly messed up nodes. Let's see what they do. This guy, of course, is, I'll just stop in here, probably. This is a normal range, and it's from A to B, C, starting point, end point 360, so we are making a circle. This dude here is an incremental, so if I added, oh, sorry, if I change it 15, it's gonna add more points. Beautiful. So those three together are actually related to each other for something which is making a polar array here. With this guy is actually making a polar array points. It's actually the coordination. This guy here will be needed to make the points themselves. This dude here also an input for the radius of those points coming inside and outside. So as long as I said inputs, so they have to be pushed to the left side, you know. And here we go again. So all those, this guy here to separate the add the odd from the even one, and this guy is to push the odd one, sorry, the even one upward by the value you provide in this one. So this is an input, which is the height from this point to here, which is 2. So input, so I have to put it on to the left. Those guys together will be great. They actually separate it from the rest of the script and get to be placed closer to each other. Now Control and G to group them, the same old technique, and give them whatever name you want. Let's say, I don't know, but I forgot actually what I named them here. Polar array. Beautiful. That's a polar array. Okay, so that's the polar array. That's the new group. And this dude, again, they look like those groups, X and Y and Z. So it's look like we are making a point, which is the overall thing. So if I push that a little bit, see, now it's moving. So it's like a move command that attached to the entire geometry. Sorry. And that's the point. It's here, and that's the coordinate system, of course, to make it. So this is to make a point. I don't know what to name it, but it's a good idea to group them. I'll control them. Sorry, select them all, Control and J, and let's make, I don't know, controller point for the whole, the geometry or the building, roof, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so it's way much more easier. Look, like you have this unit, and this unit. Better than the mess it was before. And of course, you know, that's the way, or that's the strategy I was dealing with. Maybe maybe like that, I don't know. Now here we said they are, actually, gathering the cross section and creating the surface. So I'm gonna get the surface back with the preview. So this is the surface. So that might need us to add some, nodes. I will skip on the color in a couple of seconds to get back to it. And also the renaming. It's really important to work together, the adding nodes and renaming. So I'll add a node. So you go edit and add a node here and write whatever you want. And let's say here, for those two things, they are creating the surface from surface from two cross sections. You can see the point. So this is here. Notes are really important because not all the time you need to make them groups. So for example here, I'll go edit, I'll go create note, and I will give on the left, it's really important to add, let's say this script need to work with meters, not millimeters, okay? And I'm talking for Revit, let's say Revit family. Or you can just add that into a separated note saying that it must be work on a Revit family and what type of Revit family you want. Okay, so this note is specify what type of units and what type of Revit family or Revit project environment, what type of family, what type of Revit actually you are actually opening or creating in the background. So I think in relation to the making notes, it's really clear now. Now the last thing is those guys. So you can just simply group them together, like you. Let me just push that up. And of course, you can go ahead and give them a group and then clear and clean nodes, or just like simply go edit. You can align and put them all the way aligned to the left, and you can see they are really organized in a nice and neat way. Or you can go ahead and select them again, Control and G, and just name it inputs, and really, put them in a way where they are all put together to the left. It's really, especially if you want to send this into a refinery and automated and make the cloud create all the possibilities or the majority of the possibilities you want. Don't forget, you can click and right click and then go ahead to clean if you want to organize them in a better way. So this is the majority of the strategies that you can do and make your work really much more organized, easier to be read and easier to be developed. I think the last thing you can add is adding a color code. It's really important, and it depends on the way you think. So you can maybe, for example, all the outputs, you can just give them a red color. So maybe you can all group those together, whatever the name is. I don't care anymore. Again, give it a red. So those two, when you look at them, you understand that this guy, they are outputs. So this guy is creating the node or the form in Dynamo, and this guy is exporting the form, the output, to Revit. So those are the outputs. Those guys are the inputs. I will leave them as they are. Maybe the inside units, I'll give them something different, maybe orange. And as silly it might look, it is important. Why? Because eventually you're gonna understand that these guys are inputs, these guys are processing, these guys are the output. And to making more detail, I would recommend, for example, for every type of curve making or 2D making, you can give it a different code, maybe green, or maybe, I don't know, what color you want. And the other types, which is related to making points, you can keep them with a separated color code like orange or whatever you think is more suitable. And by a quick look, you will understand that you have 2D making things, 3D making things, or curve things, points things, inputs and outputs. You understand? Totally with one look, especially when you repeat that in 100 of nodes, your brain automatically will understand what type of what type of script you are dealing with. You know that this is curves, this is 2Ds. Probably you have another code for the 3D, and immediately with a single look you'll understand. The one last thing that you might need to do to organize your work, it's a killing important aspect that I skipped in here, is the need to create a custom nodes, and the custom node will be the top king of the organization. And because when you try to organize, if this is this is very easy, let's say not really easy, let's say less than intermediate level. If you want to go more advanced, so the entire script might goes into a one custom nodes. You can open here and you can find the custom nodes that I have, and each one of them will be substituting days of work and lots of space that you need to add and organize the inputs and outputs. And you will know that there's one input and one output you need to provide for the node so it can work efficiently. So think of creating custom nodes as part of organizing your work. Anyway, I wish that you find this video useful. Thank you very much for your support, and have a good day. Bye-bye. Hello guys, oops, of course I just forgot something. That last point is to, I mentioned it here but I forgot to say it, it's to rename your original node. I bet I actually explained them before in previous videos, but sometimes instead of adding nodes, you can rename the nodes themselves. Like as I said here, this translate node can be just an example of raising these points. So instead of adding a node to them, just double click on the title, right click rename, and just name it as moving even nodes vertically. Okay, so this is a good strategy specifically for complicated cases. And here for the input, as you can see, to say what type of input you are actually we are actually expecting from you to add. And I think this is up to 2.6, because in Dynamo 2.7 there will be the copy or small text in here for the original name of the node itself, so you don't forget what is the node or this node actually because you renamed it. That will be great, of course. I think it's been added as a new feature in in Revit, in Dynamo 2.7. Thank you very much again. Sorry for this add-on. Have a good day and bye-bye.